The Salvation Army Family and Community Services in Englewood has been serving youth and families in the Englewood and West Englewood neighborhoods since 2004. A decision was made at that time that something needed to be done in response to the ever-increasing violence, crime, and failing schools within this impoverished South Side community. We responded to this crisis in the Englewood and West Englewood neighborhoods by creating an at-risk youth counseling program.
As we went through that process, one of the values we have is to look at the assets of individuals and communities. So we knew, in spite of what the media portrays, there's a lot of positive things happening in Englewood and a lot of needs. So we just started asking people what's going right in Englewood and what are the needs.
The children that are living in neighborhoods where there are very few resources, I think are at very tremendous risk.
They don't have a lot of resources in the neighborhood. They don't have a lot of money.
They are at risk for multiple things. At risk of school failure. They're at risk for being easily vulnerable to being initiated into gangs.
I think if you gave kids and you gave families opportunities and alternatives to dealing with problems that may arise, then you can see a change.
We started a program to help work with these kids and to give them some options.
Outreach to the neighborhood elementary and high schools was carried out by master's level social workers and counselors. Because these schools were often understaffed in meeting the needs of youth most in need of behavioral intervention, they have been quite appreciative to have this assistance.
Principals had these kids who were disruptive in class, and there weren't a lot of mental health resources for them. And really the alternative they had was to suspend them.
Through these efforts, we very often find that suspensions decrease and the potential lowered for behavioral acting out. We find that we become a critical support for our youth, the parent, and school personnel.
The reason I really enjoy my job here with Salvation Army and doing community-based work is because I do come from the background of working in inpatient psych with adolescents and seeing children who had many of the behavior problems that we see in our own kids that we see here in the office. But what has happened is that you see them for a very short period of time in inpatient psych, and then they go home and you never know what happens. You don't get a chance to really work a lot with the family support systems. And then those kids repeatedly came back and were re-hospitalized again and again.
A comprehensive approach has been taken in intervening with youth and families, giving consideration to all of the possible reasons that youth present with troubled behavior. This includes the context of where they are living, the impact of poverty on their lives, and the kinds of stresses they experience in the community, school, and at home that may be the catalyst for their behavior.
If you're growing up in an environment where there's lots of fear, what happens is physiologically, your body is in a state of apprehension. You're in a state of caution. That's the classic fight or flight response. When it comes to physiology, when we're living in a state of fear, we have a very enhanced what's called sympathetic nervous system. And the sympathetic nervous system either keeps you in a state where you're paralyzed, or in a state where you're flying or fighting, or in a state where you're collapsed. And so absolutely this is what we see in children that are living in these environments.
Our staff attempt to assist these youth in a variety of ways. Most importantly, we give them the individual attention they require, taking time to understand what they are experiencing, acknowledging their distress, and helping them to problem solve and cope.
So I felt that working at a community-based service program, I could actually have that opportunity to intervene with those families, to work with them on a longer-term basis.
She helped me to get a lot of issues out, and she's helpful. She'll bring out the real you.
Our program has consistently demonstrated an ability to engage these youth as well as parents and caregivers.
Before the program, my daughter Lainey, she was a little nervous, shy to herself, but now she's more outspoken. She's speaking well, she's writing well because she's in the journal club.
Our goal is to help maximize the potential for them to get what they need throughout the community and to discover multiple sources they can rely on. This may include after-school programs that meet the needs of a child's special interest, avenues to schools that are more helpful to their learning needs, and professional services that may assist in achieving less troubled behavior.
Ms. Woodard, she's a great listener. Like, you can tell her anything and she'll give you great advice.
So I can talk about what I have been doing and what I've been going through to Miss Billy.
I've been eager to come every time I get into a problem at school because I know she's always going to be there to help me figure things out.
She listens to what I have to say and gives me help on what I need help with.
It's really helpful for people to really understand what life really is about. Like, you can do more educational things in your life.
If you have problems, just come here and they'll help you.
I'm involved in Journal Club. It helps because when you're feeling upset, they'll give you a journal where you can write down your feelings and you don't have to hold the anger in.
Our program offers a writing club for girls, classes and workshops in conflict resolution, social emotional learning workshops, and a parent group called Parents in Power.
How has the Salvation Army helped me to better communicate with my daughter, to dialect with her back and forth?
They helped me to get my daughter in something to focus on, and not only that, it helped me to stay focused and be more productive with her.
Their primary purpose is to assist in helping one another in learning self-care, establishing healthy boundaries with their children, and becoming empowered to find ways to more successfully thrive as a family.
Being able to draw other parents in to be a part of their children's lives, to understand that they're the first teacher in their child's life and their children are going to mimic what they do.
These relationships they're forging are helping them to be able to say, you know what, I can do this.
From being a child growing up in Englewood, they need love. They need someone who's going to understand them. They need someone that's going to touch them and be effective and understand that I'm going to walk through this process with you until you can stand on your own and go get someone else.